This is my section. Earth is under my protection. Birth is Gallifrey. I've got two hearts. Your life is saved. Run into the master raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not Rick. 12 bodies and men. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else. Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride, it's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space, oh what's that? Exterminate.
Cyberman, a TARDIS baby.
Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go, a new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you, best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH containing the hopes and dreams of all humanity. I'm Adam O'Sullivan, and joining me as always, everyone's copying her hairstyle. It's Nicchia Schutz.
I know, and you saw my just out of bed hairstyle just before, and it is attractive. It is attractive.
It's amazing how much work you do to your hair before we start recording.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I brush it.
I know. We had to wait an hour for you to get your curlers out.
Oh, yeah, I know. I always say if I die with my curlers on, please pop them out, because, that's a viewing I don't want to go to.
Underwear, you're not concerned about. Curlers, more concerned about.
No, pop a bra on, otherwise it's just going to look hideous, whatever they bear in
That's
me.
what I request. If I die without
a bra on.
Yeah, just pop a bra on me and...
No pants.
And take a video of my mum finding my dead body. Because I'll be dead. I don't care.
Oh, that will be funny.
Hilarious for me.
No, not as funny for you, but the rest of us will get the joke.
Once again, we'll be joined by Lenny Whitehead as we finish our review of the Fourth Doctor episode, The Ark in Space.
I shall now call him the lovely Lenny.
The lovely Lenny, LL.
Who's got a great singing voice, I discovered.
Wow, we should have got him to sing when he was on the podcast.
Yes, we should have. Damn it.
But before we get into that, we'll start as we always do with Doctor Who news.
Yay.
The BBC has announced the first baddie for season 12. The Jadoon will be making a return.
Are they baddies? Because they're very confusing. They're not... They just follow rules.
Well, they were sort of the baddie. They did steal the hospital in Smith and Jones.
Yeah, but they did what they had to do and then they buggered off. They don't really care about the aftermath, do they?
No. Yeah.
No, just get the criminal.
First seen in the 10th Doctor episode Smith and Jones, it also introduced Martha Jones. Showrunner Chris Chibnall has confirmed that the Jadoon will be spotted in Gloucester, with filming crews spotted in the city centre and outside Gloucester Cathedral. Actor Joe Martin, best known for the early 2000s sitcom The Crouchers, was spotted dressed as a Gloucester tour guide.
Ooh.
The Gloucester Cathedral was also featured in the Harry Potter movies, including the door to the Gryffindor common room and the iconic scene in Chamber of Secrets, where the ominous message, "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened," appears on the wall.
Oh,
so
really?
Very
just like all the time, or just occasionally?
No, just
I can't remember.
that's how they know that the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, because otherwise, no one know it was called the Chamber of Secrets.
It's like having a big sign that says "Secret Hideout."
It's like having a big sign that says MacGuffin. Oh, MacGuffin? The MacGuffin's here? Oh, wow, it's a MacGuffin?
Oh, thank God for that.
I don't know if you know this, but the people who are in the movie don't actually know what the title of the movie is.
Really?
I know, yeah. So Harry Potter wasn't going around being like, it's my second year, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Until it appeared on the wall, and then he went, I wonder
and
if
then
that's
he's like,
what it's
Harry
called.
Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Hey.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ron Weasley was going, Ron Weasley and the Chamber of Secrets.
Poor old Ron, he's such a good actor. I mean, they all were, but he really was very good.
And Hermione was just going around going, Hermione and getting through all these tests, am I right?
Yeah.
The Jadoon are rhinoceros-like bipedal creatures, an intergalactic police force, though the 10th Doctor says they're more like interplanetary thugs.
Yeah, what's the thing they do? I wish I could. I was trying to think of it.
No blow show.
No blow show.
Yeah.
No. Human.
Well, we call them classic monsters if they've only been in that one episode. They've been in an episode of Sarah Jane Adventures as well.
Yeah, look, they're not classic Who monsters, but yeah, no, they're a return. And I'd be interested to see how Jodie goes with them and whether they're as ambiguous as they were in the first time.
Well, there's they haven't seen anything else wandering around.
Yeah, because, I mean, they work for the Shadow Proclamation when the Doctor and Donna went there. So I like them. I like them because they're ambiguous. Yeah.
I love that Muse album, The Shadow Proclamation. Anyway,
yeah, I did too. I've actually written my own version.
Oh, really? Oh, the whole album?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
well, it's a lot better.
Oh, right. Okay, well, we'll be playing that at the end of this episode.
Phew, I hope so.
It's believed that the BBC made the announcement ahead of filming in Gloucester, as the monsters would be easily recognised by fans as they wandered the streets of Gloucester.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to just walk past a
Might as well just announce it.
and go, that's an
Considering
odd outfit.
Gloucester Cathedral also put up on their website, these 2 days will be closed for filming.
Well, it was an interesting day everywhere. Like on Friday or Sunday, there was an anime convention on.
Oh, yes. Mad Men Anime Convention, yeah.
Yeah, and people running around looking quite weird.
Quite awesome, I think you mean.
Oh, yeah, sorry, quite awesome. Nobody was dressed like Kimber the White Lion, and that's bingo if you're playing.
We'll get you to dress up as Kimber the White Lion.
I can't do those big doe eyes he had.
We'll buy you some dough. I don't know.
All right, play doe.
Jodie Whittaker was spotted spending time with fans waiting outside the filming area, chatting with fans and posing for photos in costume. Oh, she's so lovely.
So nice.
So lovely.
Oh, yeah, you can't have a dickhead as Doctor Who.
No.
It just doesn't work.
Look out for our new D4WH t-shirt. You can't have a dickhead as Doctor Who.
Yeah, and on the back it says you can't be friends with dickheads. So
Yeah.
we really have something against
And then an
dickheads.
asterisk said, except Christopher Eccleston. Anyway.
He's just delicate.
It's just delicate. After filming was finished, producer Nicchia Wilson tweeted, "Huge thanks to the people of Gloucester for being so patient with our filming of Doctor Who for the last couple of days. You made us feel very welcome." My question is, when are they going to come film down in Australia? We'll make you feel welcome.
Oh, absolutely. Once Stuart's finished his film, Brisbane, then, yeah, look, we'll do anything for them.
We'll fly Peter Jackson over. He can film that episode he's been talking about.
Yeah.
Just do it here in Australia.
I'll make coffee, and I make shit coffee, but I'll try.
You're really selling it, Nicchia. Yeah, we'll get Peter Jackson over. We'll get everything great, and then Nicchia will make you some shit coffee.
But I give a good shoulder rub.
Who, you going to shoulder rub all the producers, or are you going to do that to... Oh, anyway, let's not talk about that.
Whoever I like. You later, Adam.
Let's jump back into it as Nicchia, Lenny and I explore the rest of the Ark in Space. Ooh. Previously on D4WH. Plane time! We've got the plane going over, ruining the take.
Oh, it's very easy to be cynical.
Although it was so far in the future, they've still got furniture from last year's IKEA catalogue.
It's a bit dodgy.
Trafalgar Square.
Sarah does come across as quite tipsy.
You don't want to see the movement that Nicchia is doing for the
It does
nozzle.
look a bit phallic and rude. Pat it down, Sarah, pat it down.
A highly evolved insect with a set of wire cutters.
I don't know if Harry knows what they are.
Perfect lip gloss for that lighting.
Hair
I
looks
love the
good.
thought of them getting into the Ark, being like, okay, do your makeup.
Well, what do you want to talk about, old girl?
Bingo.
I need to change it. You guys have changed.
Should say Nubian Prince.
Yeah, Nubian Prince is one of them.
Scooby Gang is still on there.
Yeah.
Because you said it 5 times last week.
I only say it twice this week.
Oh, God.
Oh, Beck's just bumping everything over there. Wibbly wobbly timey-wimey.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
Sorry, we're just talking
Yeah,
about
we're disgusting.
popping zits.
Ugh.
I will tell you a little story. I had a...
Oh, about popping zits?
Yeah, I will.
Fantastic.
Very
Well, let me put my
quickly.
script down.
Vicky, stay away from me.
I had a boyfriend, probably my first boyfriend, might have been, at uni, and we would pop each other's zits, on your back.
Must be love, love.
It's just when you're a dickhead, and you're all dickheads. But it felt like he was popping more on mine than I was on his, so I just used to pinch his back and pretend I was, because I didn't want him to think I had more on my back than he did. I have none on my back now, but it
Well.
was puberty, you know.
I don't think we have enough time to unpack what's going on there.
No, that's my competitive nature coming out. Well, you're going to have more. Squeeze, pinch, pinch. Sorry, you can cut that one out.
Outtakes, baby.
As someone with a surname of Whitehead, I'm just going to avoid this.
Yeah, put your shirt back on and turn back around. We can check out your back later, mate.
That's what we're all doing after.
A message. Oh, yeah, that's the Patreon episode. If we ever do Patreon episodes, we'll
Just the sound effects.
Oh. This podcast is over. Bingo.
I hope no one's eating. Anyway, so the overacting, I did have quite the giggle.
I loved it.
And I was still kind of laughing from the guy who did the Jesus fallback death. So-
It's also the generic pose that when you buy like video game figures in.
Yeah.
So they do that Jesus pose. So if you ever see like a very badly put together game made from assets, it's called asset flipping. Basically you buy a bunch of assets for cheap, chuck it into a pre-made game and then just release it.
Oh.
And it's pretty big right now because of the way that the video game industry is like. And basically you'll see an enemy come at you with a Jesus pose and you're like, oh, you didn't even bother putting in any animation for that character.
Oh, really? What, they just run?
Yeah.
With their arms out?
Well, they don't even run. They just kind of float towards you because the
I would
person
think they were giving me a hug.
well, the person who's made the game has basically put the bare minimum effort into it.
Yeah. So there was like the guy, like Whiny Ass from the Ark, if he did a game.
Sort of. If he was a Russian guy who was trying to scam everybody, then yes, exactly.
He would scam people.
Perfect. So a message plays from the Earth High Minister, and this is the biggest reminder that the episode was made in the 70s. More than the special effects of the writing or anything else, Harry, referencing the Earth High Minister being female, says, well, I bet that did your female chauvinist heart a power of good, followed by, fancy a member of the fair sex being top of the totem pole. A thought apparently still okay to make fun of at the time.
It kind of was in those.
Woman?
It would not have ever occurred to me in the 70s that you would ever have a woman in charge of anything. I thought we were
Watching
years
it in
away
the
from that.
2010s, it was very obvious. Like that would
yes.
not fly today.
No.
I'm showing my ignorance, but when did Thatcher become Prime Minister?
Oh, that's an
80s.
interesting question.
She was 80s.
Oh, really? So it would have been after that.
75.
So it was not long after that, but I'm sure it was in the 70s. I'm sure it was the 80s because it brought out the punk and the grunge, didn't it? And bother boots. And I mean, I still remember, thought that was just amazing that a woman had made it to Prime Minister. I was proud, but I just didn't think it would happen. And then, of course, everyone hated her and she was really tyrannical.
It's just weird the way also that Harry refers to her, not like as a woman, I bet that sounds good. It's like as a female chauvinist.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, 1979 to 1990 was
there you
Margaret Thatcher.
go.
So shortly after this episode aired, but
Well, I knew it was close to the 80s. Wow, was it 79? Well, how progressive is the UK? Good on you. Picked the wrong one, but still, you had to go.
there's that Piers Morgan interview during the week with
Oh, yeah, anything with Piers Morgan's always going to be on my playlist.
Julia Gillard. He interviews her for International Women's Day and he goes, oh, Australia's only just had their first female Prime Minister. As everyone knows in the world, Australia is misogynistic and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, excuse me.
Yeah, you're misogynistic and
I'm surprised she didn't just go, excuse me, Trump.
yeah.
Boom, done, finished. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yep, they'd rather have Trump than a woman. There you go.
Noah warns Vera about the Wirren and gives her command of Nerva before the Wirren takes control of him again.
So he still loves
He's still in there.
Vira.
They're pair bonded.
Ooh,
Whatever that means.
cool.
You know
like
what that
birds
means?
do.
It means they're going fuck.
I hope they've got a safe word.
Yo, girl, you and me pair bonded. You want to come back to my space station? You want to come back to my plastic styrofoam mold?
All fit in together.
Yeah.
Where do they live? Oh, no, they go straight to Earth, don't they? They don't, like, hang around
They
in
go
the
straight to Earth. They, like, used to live on beds and they wake up after... To them, it's been, like, seconds.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, now you have to camp out on the Earth.
Yeah. And it says if it's barren, you make it fruitful. And I'm thinking they don't look like farmers. They don't look. They must have a pod of like farm people that they kept.
Yeah.
Regressives.
But it's 70s Doctor Who, so we know that Earth looks like a quarry.
Oh, that's true. It always looks like a quarry.
Vera and the Doctor go to speak to Noah, leaving Harry and Sarah to continue reviving the crew. Vera and the Doctor come across Noah in the hallways, and the Wirren has started to absorb the rest of his body. This is the iconic image of Noah being taken over by the Wirren, and by iconic I mean it's on the Wikipedia page.
As a kid,
it is gruesome looking.
I went, ugh. I mean, this guy's alive and he's been taken over.
And it's also eating his clothes as well.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's very interesting.
Likes the cloth.
It looks very scary. It looks less scary when they overlay that over the top of a puppet later on.
Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't work.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. I'm still getting over and shooting him in the boobs. I still couldn't get over that.
And then something happens?
What?
I have no idea because it's not shown. Noah steps forward, he drops his gun, and then Vera and the Doctor act as if he's left, You don't remember that? Where he's like,
No.
oh, I've got you. And then they show he takes one step
Oh,
forward.
yeah.
The gun drops. And then they're like, well, what's he going to do? And it's like, he's gone.
And then the door closes. So I thought it was because he doesn't want to kill Vira. And so there's still that bit of human Noah in him that drops the gun and retreats.
But they could have shown that. They could have shown him like dropping the gun, walking away.
Maybe it was just, they ran out of film. There was a glitch.
Yeah, who knows?
Kind of worked. Dunno. And then he's full animal by then, isn't he? Still got one arm free.
Yeah, no. The next time we see him, he starts forming the eyes.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
right. It's just, yeah.
He loves to just jump out of the armory and be like, "Baha, I gotcha."
And now I'm gone back.
Yeah, I'll get you next time when you come around. And then Harry and Sarah have woken up 2 more crew members who are a bit annoyed.
I didn't find Noah scary in that.
No.
I wasn't worried that Noah was going to kill them. I was more worried that the others were. I don't know. Even as a kid, I remember thinking Noah was still a bit human.
I remember thinking throughout the episode being like, why isn't he trying to touch them? If they can just touch and then make more Wirrens, why isn't he like, bam, 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 you're all it, you're all Wirrens, boom.
I don't know. Maybe it only works once. And what happened to Dune?
He turned into the slug that's crawling around, didn't he?
Okay, well, how come Noah didn't? I mean, it just all seems a
I
bit...
don't know.
I got lost with that because I'm thinking Dune was first. Why isn't he commander?
Why didn't Dune, when he was a slug, just go around while everyone's asleep and be like, tag, 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 tag. Everyone's a Wirren now.
I couldn't get him open because he didn't have those little antenna.
Took him like 10,000 years to become a slug. Harry dissects the dead, Harry dissects.
He doesn't de-sex anything.
No, it's dead, so it doesn't matter. Harry dissects the dead Wirren and the Doctor discovers that the Wirren live in space. So why are they on the space station? Ooh.
Did you like it when they they see what's happened with the Wirren's memories
Oh, man.
on the TV?
Oh,
Come on, Lenny's got something to say here.
Well, I think this was a good but scary introduction to Tom Baker. So he was raving about how good his brain was.
Yeah.
He's completely willing to put a set of jumper leads onto his head.
yeah. Which they just have lying around. Like, we like to attach our brain to all sorts of things. So here you go.
Yeah.
But I like that. And then he pulls those. I always love his I'm in pain faces.
Yeah.
I've always liked Tom Baker's because he does look like he's in pain.
Yeah.
But the big buggy eyes and the big smile. Love him. Love him.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yep. The 2 recently woken crew members, who might as well be wearing red outfits, go to investigate a noise and discover that the vent has been ripped open.
One of them's going to die.
Yep, and one of them dies. It gets eaten by a slug, I assume, but we don't see it.
No, too gruesome for the kiddies.
Oh, I assumed that a bubble-wrapped slug rubbing itself up against a crew member.
It's a bit sexual.
Yeah, they went, oh, that actually doesn't look like he's eating him.
It looks like he's humping him. We shall procreate now. My safe word.
The doctor sees, what's the Wirren safe word?
Get off me. Yes.
The doctor sees through the Wirren's eye that it was zapped by the auto guard, after which it chewed through the cables and laid its eggs in a crew member. It turns out that the Wirren are weak against electricity, so it's best to use a Pikachu against them.
A Pikachu.
Yep, that's the best type of Pokemon to use against a Wirren, apparently.
Well, there you go, and now we know.
Yeah, and the more you know, the better it is.
Yeah.
So if you ever go up against a Wirren in a poker gym, just use electricity.
Yeah, and I go to the poker gym quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm always
more than I do. That's
always
for sure.
working out there.
Yeah, more than I do. I look like a pokeball.
I never go to the gym.
Also, electricity kills them. I'm pretty sure electricity kills anything.
Yeah. It's not a big stretch, is it? I mean, Daleks would kill them if they could have brought a Dalek.
There you go.
Back up there.
The doctor would be like, just give me a second. I'm just going to jump the TARDIS and go get a Dalek.
Go get a...
And then that's going to be our issue.
Yeah.
That would be the logical thing. If you got insects crawling through your Ark, you call the exterminators.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exterminate.
Or they turn to each other and they're like, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters! And then the Ghostbusters all get turned into Wirrens and it's very sad.
Yeah, get a Dalek or...
Cybermen?
Cybermen? No. They've got a whole arc of it. You've got another problem then. No, I just say cattle prods.
Yeah, cattle prods.
In the boob. Obviously kills them.
That's the name of my country album, by the way, Cattle Prod in the Boob. Sorry, Lenny.
What about just some intergalactic salt and put it around just for the...
Oh, yeah, why didn't they just do a salt thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor doesn't say that they're allergic to salt. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Harry and the other crew member go get guns from the armory, and they're attacked by Noah, who is almost fully transformed. And this is another thing where it's like confusing as to what happens, because there's just like random shots and flashes and...
Yeah, and then the door closes, doesn't it?
Yeah, the door closes anyway.
Good old doors.
They return to find the Wirren trying to break through the door and attack, revealing a giant Wirren slug with big pink nipples that we've been talking about all episode.
Yeah, boob shots.
Yeah, gratuitous boob shots.
I know. I mean, you'd think Doctor Who would be beyond those sorts of boob shots, but no, there they were.
And it had at least 4 nipples, so...
Yeah, it did.
So you think they were boobs
6.
rather than crawling appendages?
Oh,
I
suckers?
thought they
You
looked
were
like
suckers?
boobs to me.
Well, because they were coloured pink.
Like suckling, but like nipples.
Yeah.
Didn't you think?
I thought they had little holes in them as well.
Nipples have holes in them.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you think the babies get anything? So this baby going, you could put a hole in this thing to make it easier.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Well, they could have been, but then why was it up on 2 legs? Well, it was the guy just sore from doing that crawling around. So
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been very difficult to defeat if it was just crawling around on the ground. Shoot lower. We are the lowest. It's on the ground.
Yeah, but it could have been. I don't know, because it was pink. I just sat there and I went, well, it looks like boobs.
Yeah, so did I.
And that could just be the way Adam and I think about
We're
boobs.
always thinking about, I'm like, oh, this Doctor Who needs more boobs.
It's not enough boob.
I am a female chauvinist, as you all know.
I am.
The Doctor uses the transmat to transport Harry and Logan back to the main control room before the power goes out. The Wirrens are trying to suffocate the humans. Dun, dun, dun. They say that they can't travel in between. They've got to use the teleporter. So the Doctor decides, just go the way that we said we couldn't go.
Yeah, I know. No, they're in hibernation then. He said they'll be hibernating.
Minutes after they have to use the travel thing, he's like, yep, all right, they're in hibernation now.
They're in pupal stage or...
Doctor, if you're wrong by even a single minute, you'll be killed.
Don't worry about it.
Even though one just literally just tried to attack us, I reckon they're hibernating.
I love the fact that Sarah has the best idea and nobody will listen to her.
Yes.
That really drove me nuts. Doctor, be quiet, Sarah.
Excuse me, I'm talking to a future woman. She knows how to think. All right, 70s woman, you give it a try. What are you going to suggest? Make a sandwich?
Put some clogs on it, for God's sake.
What about this plan? Jesus Christ, that's the best idea I've ever heard. Oh, my God.
I think Future Woman leaked that to you, didn't you?
70s women must be mirrors because you reflected my idea against me.
Yes, it is very sexist, but anyway.
Harry, come over here and check out the 70s woman who can say things that actually mean stuff.
And make a sandwich.
Yeah, and make a sandwich. Well, I don't know. She's a feminist. She probably doesn't know how to make a sandwich.
Yes, anyway.
Don't worry, this will never date this episode ever. Women will also always be treated inferior. It's not like there'll ever be a female Doctor, that's for sure.
Oh, and look at it now.
Although Tom Baker was the first one to suggest a female Doctor.
Oh, he would have loved it.
He was drunk at the time, but...
Yeah, he was drunk a lot, I think.
Shots fired. We're drunk right now.
Yeah.
So the Doctor goes into the solar stacks to try and bring back the power, and that's when he meets the newly transformed Wirren, Noah. With that amazing look on his face that they transpose over the top of the puppet.
Oh, yeah. Not good.
Thankfully, we're now in part 4. This is the last episode. And Vera and Sarah have followed the Doctor and zapped the Wirren, allowing him to join them. The Wirren advises the humans to leave Nerva so that they can have the sleeping passages for them to consume.
Well, I think he wants Vira to survive. Live, Vira. I love that. Goodbye, Vira.
Well, first of all, he goes... Stay.
Oh, that's right.
Also
Stay.
go.
Stay, go. Men are so confusing.
Yes.
There was a couple of parts where they were trying to go to phase 2 of waking everybody up.
Oh, yes.
And they kept on saying, but what about the safety protocols? What about the safety protocols?
There were no safety protocols when they woke up those first 5 people.
Well, and what are they? Get the little hat crown on first time? Every time?
Put the metal crown on, which looks like it was made at Bunnings. Use the flower gun. That's the 2 safety protocols.
And also, wouldn't you be better off waking them up before they become Wirren food?
Well, no, they say that. Vera says it'll take 3 days to wake everyone up, and the Doctor's like, well, by that time, we're all going to be
You'll all
Wirren.
be dead. Bloody hell. I mean, it's a good thing the doctor came along just after the
Yes.
Wirren had turned up, because if he'd come along a bit later, they'd already be Wirrens.
No, but they say that the Wirren have been there for ages.
Yeah, I know. So why have they done nothing?
I don't know. That's the thing I don't understand, because he says that the dead Wirren is almost mummified. So the Wirren's just been hanging out, doing nothing.
Maybe there's, I don't know, games on the...
Because it does actually make sense why the crew start waking up, because the doctor comes in and turns the power back on.
Yeah.
But what doesn't make sense is why the Wirren hasn't been doing anything. Unless it can't get into those plastic tubes, plastic
No,
molds.
maybe. Well, it was in the solar stacks getting energy. Maybe it needed years and years of energy.
But we see
Help me out here,
we see
Lenny.
it go into the solar stacks in this episode.
That's what I was leaning towards. So, like, why was it draining power just then?
Yeah.
So it does sound like if they started off thinking the lava was like just as big as your thumb and then would keep growing. But then because they had to rush through episodes 3 and 4.
They grew really quickly.
Yeah.
Yes. They go from like the slug to fully formed in like, an episode's time. Yeah.
Fair enough. No. And that's a good, when you've got to rush through an episode, that's a bloody good explanation.
It seems that the humans have attacked the home planet of the Wirren, forcing them to live in space. In retaliation, the Wirren will destroy the humans. And like I said, Wirrens are basically big mosquitoes.
Yeah.
They have absorbed the knowledge of the people they consumed. The other Wirrens start to hatch, and the humans find Harry and Logan. Harry reveals the TARDIS to the crew members, but Vera refuses to leave.
And then the doctor says, well, we can't leave.
Yeah.
But Harry was happy to bugger off.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Well,
only
he
the
thinks
future.
everyone's dead, so he thinks all of the sleeping people
Oh,
are
that's
dead.
true.
And I love that the doctor compares the sleeping people to jelly babies. I thought that was quite cute.
That was good.
And then we get to the part, like you mentioned, where everyone ignores Sarah.
Yeah, poor old Sarah.
But she notices that the transport ship that Noah mentioned probably has its own power supply. Apparently, a small transport ship can generate twice as much electricity as a giant space station,
Oh, thank
according
God
to
for that.
Logan. Yeah.
Thank God for that.
And when you see the model, it is like 1 centimeter big, and the space station is like 20 centimeters big. You would think that would need more power.
No, look, I just don't think you understand future mechanics, future, this is your problem, Adam.
Isn't it a quantum generator? What is the thing that's on the Sanunga conundrum?
Oh, you're a very, 2019s kind of guy,
I'm a 29th century man in a 30th century world.
Oh, you are. I mean, if you had the knowledge that Lenny and I have from watching old Who, that we are much more advanced in our
Of
space
course,
technology.
more advanced. Yes.
Yep.
There were 2 Mark 9 Norwood turbines on that little spaceship.
That's
That
right.
explains everything.
And that's what you need.
I'm pretty sure my car has at least one of those.
And what you also need is a 70s woman to take the cable through.
Yes.
Little Sarah.
They go, oh, it's only about this big, and Sarah's like, I'm this big, and it's like, all right, shut up, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right,
So you're tiny.
Yeah, the rest of us are fat. Shut the fuck up. All right, God damn it. I'm a little woman. All right, well, before you wanted to run everything, now you want to be the little woman. All right. Rogan and Vera enter the transport ship via a panel that lowers, revealing a very ordinary painter's ladder.
But did anyone notice how slow everything was
Yes,
to lower
yes.
the doors to
Well, it's difficult when you've got 2 guys who are lowering it down from above. I love that all the doors in the ship have that lip at the bottom.
Yeah.
Which would not be health and safety because
Yeah.
everyone would trip over it, but it's to hide the wheels on the door as it moves back and forth.
Oh, it's quite funny. But when they play, I'm thinking, my God, could this go any slower?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're being attacked by aliens right now.
So then they got in there,
They get in there.
and we find out that Noah is leading them on a suicide mission.
Oh, well, first of all, while the doctor is setting up the cables,
Yeah.
Wirren enters the cryo chamber, the doctor hides, and then the Wirren must just go away because in the next scene he's just like, setting up again.
Yeah, well, the Wirren goes, nah, nobody here, I'm out. He's just doing a recce.
Yeah, just checking things out. He's like, well, I might as well leave this space, even though there's like a bunch of Wirren hatched apparently.
Yeah, no, we'll be right. We'll get out of here.
Then Sarah, going through the tunnels, freaks out, so the doctor yells at her to motivate her instead of, reaching in and helping her.
Well,
The best motivation is like, you're useless. I'll show you useless. When she could have gone, all right, I'm useless.
I remember that having a big impact on me as a kid. That it was her. I mean, that was her character. It was her woman's lib, and
if it had been Rogan, he would have gone, "You're useless," and he'd be like, "Yeah, I am useless. I should have died on Earth. Oh, I hate everything. I'm going to listen to My Chemical Romance."
I like the way she's going. Leave me alone. I don't need your help. And he's going, yes, you do. No, I don't.
Then the Doctor connects the electricity and shocks the Wirren.
Woo.
The Wirren turn the power back on so that Noah can communicate with them. He offers to allow the humans to escape if they leave the cryo chamber, threatening to shut down the oxygen if they don't.
And?
He's the swarm leader.
Yeah, how did he become the swarm leader? What happened? I'm still upset about what happened to Dune, whatever he is.
Well, maybe Dune's just... He was happy as a slug.
He was just like food.
He's like, no, you take over.
Yeah.
I'll just slug around.
I'll just crawl around on the floor. Get shot in the boob.
The swarm attack the transport ship from the outside, so the Doctor tells them all to exit into the Ark. He and Rogan remove the locks so the transport ship can be shot into space, but Rogan knocks out the Doctor and takes him to safety before sacrificing himself.
With a killer punch, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it missed him by, 12 inches.
Yeah. It's a coward's punch, After that coward's punch, that's why all of the bars in the Ark have to be shut by midnight. Yeah.
God. I tell you. And it just didn't sit with his character. I didn't think he would sacrifice himself.
Being suicidal. He's been suicidal the whole episode.
Well, he has been suicidal, but he sees a chance to live. I don't know, Anyway, I was glad he did it because we don't want the Doctor to burn up.
Well, then we would have Rogan as the leader.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I wish we could go back to Earth. All right, Rogan, you said that 7 episodes ago.
Yeah, he's like an emo, isn't he? he's pissed off in the whole white thing because he really wants to be wearing black.
Oh, you wouldn't want to eat in those outfits, would you? Because you'd get it all over yourself. I would anyway. But then I'm not selected to go on Nerva, am I? I know what I look like. It's not the future race. I'm a goddamn regressive. And proud, thank you very much. We proud regressives.
Oh, I'd be there. I'd be there with
Welcome to our regressive podcast.
Full face of makeup, looking hot, my white jumpsuit.
The Doctor guesses that Noah may have led the entire swarm into the transport ship as last vestige of his humanity. Noah communicates to Vera and the transport ship explodes, killing the Wirren. He could have just let them live.
No, I think I like that. I like that. He was still on humanity's side. Although in the New Who, the Doctor doesn't really want to kill a lot of the aliens, where they're pretty happy to just bump these ones off, aren't they?
Yeah, the Wirrens are not coming back.
No.
Which is surprising considering they made those giant props for them. You'd think they'd be like, oh, they're coming back next season, that's for sure.
Oh, well, they'll be sitting in the back with the giant clams that they used in Genesis of the Daleks.
Oh, maybe there was a production that just had giant mosquitoes and they were like, oh, we'll just use them as a bad guy.
Oh.
That makes so much more sense now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, my God.
You say mosquitoes, but maybe just growing up in New South Wales, they were like big cicadas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they look like mosquitoes. I think they look like beetly cicadas, something.
Especially when they show the vision of them crawling on the outside of the ship. That definitely gave me a mosquito vibe.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to eat people too, like suck their blood.
Yeah, and I mean, they're sort of basing them on those wasps that,
Oh, yes, the parasite.
Yeah, which is hideous. I mean,
it's disgusting.
Yeah. I never want that.
And there's one that can like burrow into your brain and like take over.
And they used to use cows. Now, wouldn't we have cows on the Ark? Don't we need animals?
No, they're all vegan. That's the worst part of the future humans. Is that they're all vegan.
No, everyone's a vegan.
Everyone farts so much.
You just can't go into the toilet after a vegan. It's never
Everything's just paste.
Yeah.
Vegan paste. That's why Rogan wanted to kill himself, because he couldn't have a steak.
But wouldn't they have 2 of every animal as well? Wouldn't they?
Maybe there's a deck where there's like just animals in suspended hibernation. That would be amazing.
That would. I'd like to see that. Well, they did have an episode in, I think it was the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, and it might have been that or William Hartnell. Anyway, and one of the companions has a cold, but they go on like an ark and there's all of that. But she gives everybody this virus.
Ah.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it's called.
Called War of the Worlds.
It's called, it's black and white. I can't remember it now, but it was Zoe.
I'm sure we'll do it eventually.
One day.
The Vera plans to use the matter transporter beam everyone down to Earth, but like a Star Trek teleporter, it can only fit 3 people at a time.
Yeah. That is the shittest thing, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, why they haven't at some point in Star Trek gone, let's build a big one so everyone can go.
Well, and as we know, matter transporter doesn't really exist. What happens is it takes a copy of you, sends a copy to the thing, and therefore you have a moral conundrum of which one's the original person.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's for another episode.
Yeah.
Wish I could stop saying anyway.
Yeah. I wish you could too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ooh. However, the part on Earth is faulty, so the Doctor and the Scooby Gang decide to fix the matter transporter by using the matter transporter?
Well, no, they're just fixing to make sure that everything's all right down the other end.
But he says it's faulty. He says he has to go down and check
anyway.
the... Yeah.
Why didn't they take the TARDIS?
Don't. No. I don't know why they don't take the
Because
TARDIS.
I wouldn't leave the TARDIS on an ark with Vira.
Yeah. Just look after the TARDIS. Oh, and the Doctor also gives him gives Vera his jelly babies.
Ah, yes.
I sure hope that the stomachs of the future can handle processed sugar. Otherwise, that's screwed. Also, jelly babies have gelatin in them, which is an
Yeah.
adult product.
Ooh.
Animal product.
Don't tell the vegans.
Yeah. Well, they are vegans, I assume.
Oh, yeah, they probably don't know. Never heard of a jelly baby. It's a regressor food. And then off they go.
Off
and then
they
it's
go, dressed in their
Sontarans.
costumes that they wear in Genesis of the Daleks.
They are. And I did forget about the Sontaran in the... Because I liked the original Sontarans from the 70s because they had bits of hair coming out of their, their potato-y heads. Whereas the new ones are too smooth. Smooth, I don't like smooth.
You like a rough Sontaran?
I do. I like my Sontarans rough and ready.
I like my Sontarans like I like my sex, rough.
And ready and in the boob.
In the big pink nipples.
I didn't need to hear this conversation.
Write down where you need to edit.
Yes.
Anything else anyone would like to say about this episode before we wrap up?
Was that a pun?
Yeah, wrap up in bubble wrap and post it off to the listeners' ears.
Kablam.
Kablam, yeah, yep. Kablam. If they had a pop that we were in, they might have exploded.
They might have. Look, I loved this as a kid. Sitting down and watching it yesterday, I mean, it didn't go too slow, and it is pacey, but it's not. I mean, I'm growing up, but it's just not even a little bit as scary as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because there were still moments in Genesis of the Daleks, watching that I still remember as being quite dark, that I still felt were quite dark, particularly, all the Hitler people. But, yeah, I don't know. I had a really strong memory of Vira, and I had a really strong memory of Noah keeping his humanity. But, yeah, it did go quick. I felt like it kind of went too quick.
Yeah.
In the fact that I don't know if I wanted more episodes, but a little more in depth of something.
I was the same. Like, you could have stretched this story out for maybe 8 episodes and or even 6
Yeah.
and told a lot more of the stories. But for me, this was still a lot about introducing Tom Baker.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
all of his idiosyncrasies. Like, as a kid, you could go, his scarf just got cut in half, but it's still dragging along the floor.
Yeah.
What an incredibly magic scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And I also think he was so different to John Pertwee because, Pertwee was the sort of a dandy. He was very different with his assistants, and you got to see that Tom could be quite rude sometimes. So that was the first time I've ever seen the Doctor. He could be quite sharp with them. He would take credit for ideas that they came up with, which the Doctor, that's a trait that has carried through to a lot of the Doctors. And he was also, I don't know, like you said, Lenny, the big hair, the big teeth, the big eyes. He looked like an alien. I loved it because I fell in love with Tom Baker.
I mean, it's interesting that you say that you get that they were introducing Tom Baker in this episode because I didn't, not knowing that this was his second story, I didn't get that. I thought, Tom Baker he's been around for a while. And I got that this was Harry's first episode because they very explicitly mention
Well, his
it,
first time travel one, he'd been in the episode before on Earth.
Yeah. But like everyone seemed to be at ease with the new Doctor. There was no sort of, I suppose back in those days, they used to just have the one episode where he regenerated and then everyone was fine and, you know.
Yeah, and I think like he and Sarah, Elizabeth Sladen and Tom Baker had a great relationship. They really, really got on well, and they always only had really good things to say about each other, and they were kind of buddies, whereas he had some trouble with other companions that he didn't think were appropriate for the Doctor. But yeah, I mean, you got to remember this is his second episode, so this is the second time we've seen him, and we're still trying to get used to or get to know who he is. And as any Doctor, they're still trying to find out who they are. So yeah, I don't know. I just remember being madly in love with this episode as a kid. Couldn't wait to watch it again, and probably let me down a little more than Genesis of the Daleks did, because I still enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I love Sarah Jane. I can see why she's, you know, people's favourite. She's just great, and I can't wait to see more of her.
Yeah.
Tom Baker, still quite enjoying him as the Doctor, you know.
Yeah.
Better than the episodes for Sylvester McCoy that we watched, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, he is. And, of course, you know, he had a lot of series to really get into that character.
Oh, and we're only in his first season, basically.
I know. He's very new to it. So there was a special features on the DVD that I've got, and it's a guy from Blue Peter going to interview him. And he's the new Doctor, and he's going through these caves looking for him. And there's his Cyberman, and he goes, I'm looking for Doctor Who. And he keeps calling him Doctor Who, which is really weird. I'm looking for Doctor Who. And the Cyberman go, oh, yeah, no, he's over there somewhere. I think he went and had a coffee or something. And then he goes up to some other wild monster. I'm looking for Doctor Who. I think he's over there. I think he's shooting a scene. And the guy goes over and he goes, I'm looking for Doctor Who. And then Tom Baker turns around and he goes, that's me. And he goes, oh, you're the new Doctor Who. Keeps calling him Doctor Who, not the Doctor. Anyway, then they have a bit of a chat, and then he says, oh, well, you know, I like to go to the pub and with my friends and stuff when I'm not being Doctor Who. Yeah, okay. And then you see him going off to the pub with two Cybermen and a couple.
I love that was still acceptable back in those days. Like, I like to go to the pub.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, in the UK, like, that's still acceptable because I remember when I went to the UK and started watching EastEnders, and every episode ends with, let's go down to the pub and have a drink. Whereas I grew up on soaps here where it's like, if anyone in Home and Away has a drink, they have a drinking problem. No one can have just one beer. It's like, you have a drinking problem.
I went to a school that was a bit like that.
So Tom Baker actually came to Australia.
He did.
A couple of times, and I went and saw him.
I hate you. My dad wouldn't take me.
Oh, no.
I think it was at a shopping centre in Chatswood, and it was crowded, and you just had to look down and sort of see him and stuff like that. And so watching this episode again and seeing Tom Baker, who just in the live, was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it just brought back all those old memories of seeing him live, the jelly babies, the yo-yo, the scarf. And then I'm not sure if it was on the TV episode or I didn't notice as a kid. Do you notice what he said at the end of this series?
Wow.
No.
So on the DVD, he just comes out by himself and says,
oh, yeah.
if you do something, tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
And then just walks off.
Yeah. It's really strange, right? It's just him and he walks to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he says. I forgot about that.
What does he mean?
I don't know.
It's sort of like, well, if you do something, rat yourself in. You know, like if you do something bad, you should admit to it. Or
if you do something good, don't be
afraid to tell people about it.
Don't be too humble to tell people. I don't know.
Oh, that is strange.
That must have been something that was going on there. I remember when he came to Australia and I mean, we're on a farm and they couldn't take me, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I had a poster. I had all Doctor Who posters on my wall from the TV week, and there was one of Tom Baker, and so I took a photo of me in front of it. And that was my dream of meeting Tom Baker.
These days you could take a picture of yourself in front of it and tweet it at him, and then he would tweet back.
Yeah.
I just have to thank my dad in a way. So he built a proper hex, I think it was a 10-sided, so he built a TARDIS console.
Oh my God.
I want your dad.
Yeah.
Complete with a big square thing that went up and down in the middle. So he was a TV repairman and a computer programmer. And growing up with him and just like the passion it was just infectious.
Yeah.
Of how into Doctor Who he was.
Yeah.
And how that just like all the kids picked it up.
Isn't that funny? Because I tried so hard with my kids and neither of them like Doctor Who. But my niece loves it. And I had no influence on her. She just found it and loved it on her own. But my kids, I tried and I had pictures of TARDISes in their bedrooms. I tried everything and it didn't work. But I had nobody who, in my family, who watched it, just me. And I don't know why I fell madly in love with it. I think, always time travel always kind of interested me. And also the Doctor's like your big brother, and I never had a brother, so I always wanted one. So
Or
I kind
sister.
of felt like that. Or sister. I've got a big sister.
My dad worked in a company that makes cardboard tubes. So he would bring cardboard tubes and I would just walk around the house being like, I'm a robot 'cause I've got cardboard tubes on my arms. And that was before I started watching Doctor Who, because I only started watching when I was in uni.
Hey, I was still amazed when you could put string and 2 jam tins together and you could talk to someone. I thought that was bloody amazing. I think that's really good. Good on your dad, Lenny.
Yes, good on your dad. So
Yeah.
as we always like to do, we like to give the episode a score out of 5. Who would like to go first?
I will.
Nicchia? Okay,
I
Nicchia
will.
is going to go first.
So Genesis of the Daleks, I gave a 5. Because I
correct.
still really, really loved it. I still loved this episode. There were things that made me laugh, things that didn't. But I'm looking at a whole, history that I know of. So I'm going to give this one a 4
Okay.
because of the lack of padding. Bit too fast for me.
Yep.
And I think with great CGI, it would have been fantastic. But anyway, so it's a 4 from me.
I'm going to give this a 4.5.
Oh, yes. Ooh.
And it's just, there were so many off-the-cuff comments and things like the cricket ball appearing.
Yeah.
Sarah saying he talks to himself. He does that because there's no one else intelligent enough around to understand it.
Yes.
There were just 9 or 10 moments in this episode that just made it for me.
Yeah, those wonderful little... Mine was when he says to Harry, oh, you're improving, Harry. Don't take any credit for it. It's all entirely my influence. I loved that. Yeah. Okay, here's from the New Who guy.
All right. So
Close your eyes.
So if I compare it, obviously, to the New Who, it doesn't even hold a candle to New Who. It's very long. It goes for almost 2 hours. But I did notice when I was reading the Wikipedia page that they re-screened it. They edited it down to one story and re-screened it as an hour and 10 minutes. Now, I would like to see that version because I wonder what they took out, because it feels punchier than Genesis of the Daleks. There's not as much padding, but there are still threads that they don't get to.
Yeah.
Like there is that thread of perfect genetic humans that they never get around to.
Yeah.
And that really would have interested me.
The regressives and all that. Yeah.
They go with this idea of monster of the week sort of thing when, if they had have dug a little bit deeper into that regressives thing, like, oh, that could be a whole episode by itself. So there are bits that I enjoy. I do like, a lot of the characters. Obviously, the special effects are not as great as they would be these days, but as I've said, I have to look at it from a 70s point of view. In the context of the episodes, it doesn't really mean a lot because there's nothing that comes out of it that gets...
No, there's nothing for the canon.
Yeah, there's nothing for the canon there. The Wirren have never been seen since then. What am I going to give it? What am I going to give it?
I'm ready.
Talking about it, so... It was either going to get a 3 or a 4 from me, and talking about it, there is a lot that I really enjoy about it. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Yes.
It's a very low 4.
That's all right. We'll take a 4.
Yeah, it is a 4. Just because there are some elements I would have... like you said, by the time they get to that 4th episode, there's a lot of stuff that they're just skipping over, basically.
Yeah, that they're pushing through.
But I feel like that's indicative of the series at the time, is that they would spend so long in the first few episodes padding. By the time they get to the last episode, they're like, all right, we need to wrap all of this up.
Yeah, and it's that... Haven't you ever read a book and you've been really enjoying it and it feels like the writer just went, I'm over this, and just ended it, and you go, what? What happened? It all went so quick. It was so much pacier than I remember, and so little padding. I found that really interesting. Yeah, it doesn't add to the canon, but it is a great episode, and they do come back to the Ark later on.
Oh, do they?
But yeah.
Oh, okay.
But things are different.
So I've given it a 4. I don't like it as much as Genesis of the Daleks, but I feel like... So I was teetering between a 3 and a 4, and I feel like there's going to be episodes that are going to be a lot worse than this. So that's why I've given it the benefit of the doubt. There is a lot that I enjoyed about it, and they did really well with green bubble wrap. The hand didn't look like a human hand. It looked like a slug. When you see the actual slug, it's like, okay, that's a sleeping bag full of bubble wrap, as we've mentioned. When they show the nipples, it's like, why did they choose to show that and not so many other things in the episode? But yeah, gotta give it a 4.
Oh, yay! Right, now, Lenny, so every one of our guests who comes on, we ask them what their Time Lord name is. So the Doctor he chose the Doctor to remind himself to do no harm. All right, and he took that oath to care. Adams...
The nerd.
Yeah, because he picks up all the little things.
In case you haven't noticed during this episode.
Yeah. My Time Lord name was given to me by my family. I'm the commander because apparently I'm bossy.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Shut up. It's either who you aspire to be or something you want to remind yourself that this is who you are. So your essence, I guess. So have a think about that and let us know when you've got it.
I've got it.
Okay.
Cool.
So I would be the analyst. That doesn't mean I take it up the Ark. My nature is just, again, partly taught by my dad, partly by all the programming and everything that I do.
Oh, yeah, what you do.
Yeah, that's my nature and just a logical view of the world.
So you would be the analyst.
The analyst.
Yeah.
So you would go around analysing it all. Would there be action with the analysis or just analyse it and then let us know?
Yeah.
There'd be action.
There'd be action.
Would you want a scarf? You want a scarf to wear as the Doctor, as the analyst?
I definitely want a hat.
Okay. What sort of hat do you want?
Well, he's got cool hats.
Yeah, you got a flat-brimmed hat, so
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Like a flat-brimmed hat.
He's got cool hats. You might be the analyst, but you have not taken the road that everyone else takes, have you? I mean, you try all sorts of, different things. You've got adventure and, you lived in other countries and you...
The wandering analyst.
The wandering analyst.
That could work.
Yeah?
I like that.
We'll go with that.
The wandering analyst.
Once you start, you can't stop. So now I'm thinking the chaos comic.
I
do like that one.
I do like that chaos comic. That's a good one.
That's a good supervillain name.
Yeah.
I am the chaos comic. I will make you laugh, then I will make you die.
I'd like to be I want to go back and do our own episode of like a 70s Who, where we all get to overact our dying. That's what I want to do.
I've been overacting this whole time. You just can't see it because it's all audio.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Every time
he does overact.
Twist and, I've been beating my hand against this table the whole time.
It's very bloody annoying.
We will absorb you humans. So anyway, Lenny, do you have anything to plug?
No, not at the moment.
No?
No, I'm just taking a break for a while.
No,
just doing some writing.
Check out Lenny somewhere. We'll let people know once you have something to
When he's
plug.
got something, D4W, we always like
That's
to publish when some of our guests are doing things.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank
it's been
you
great having
so
you.
much,
Thank you,
Lenny.
it's been awesome.
Yeah.
D4WH is on Facebook. Give a page a like for updates and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D4WHpod. We'll post questions and polls and would love your input and feedback. Rate and review us on iTunes, recommend us on Facebook and follow us on Podbean. We are also now available on Spotify and Stitcher. Help us get the word out. Tell your friends about us. And if you see someone on the street wearing a Doctor Who shirt, politely go up to them and suggest our podcast.
Get the word out. You may be lost on a rogue spaceship, drifting in the depths of space. You're all alone, a lone crew member to ensure the systems remain working. Communication with Earth takes months, as the sound waves must travel halfway across the solar system. You've done a routine check when you hear a noise behind you. You freeze in terror. You hear the noise again. You turn around slowly and realise it's just a message from Earth. The new episode of D4WH is now available. You kick back to relax and listen to our voices as an alien rips through the ship and destroys everything in its path. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?